Hello friends and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. This video is going to be a wrap-up of my middle grade March reads, and I also thought that since it was middle grade that this would be a really good video to show all the great ideas for a read aloud for homeschools. So you know we love reading aloud. A few of these we did use as a read aloud, and if you're interested to see what all I've read, stick around. Before we get started, I am a homeschool mom to a first grader. We love all things books and homeschool and sharing our journey with you. So if that is something you're interested in, I would love if you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy books and this video, give me a thumbs up. So middle grade March is not actually over at the point of this recording. I'm going to lump all of this in together, but this is where I am right now. It is March 19th, and I've read some books, and I want to share with you what I've read so far. And then as I finish up the entire month, I will show you what I finished reading. So the thing that we just finished last night actually is Roald Dahl's Matilda. This we did as a read aloud, and so it took me a little bit longer to complete this one than maybe some of the other ones because I was doing it on my daughter's schedule, so I couldn't just read in the middle of the night and leave her out of it. The one thing about this book is I think it's a really fun read aloud. She really liked it. It was physically difficult to read because I like to give emotion to my books. I like to do the accents and things like that. And so personally for me, it was very taxing to read this. Just my voice was just done by the time of this book. I did actually end up being able to get the audiobook, so there were times where she was really wanting to read it and my voice just couldn't handle it. So we did audiobook and me reading this, but I will say that the adults in this book are just terrible. Like almost all of them are just absolutely terrible. The headmistress, Miss Trunchbull, is yelling the entire time, and so that gave one reason to why this was just a really difficult book to read, because there was just constant yelling, and it was just terrible the way that they treated the children. But she really liked it. We will definitely be lumping this in with one of our movie nights. You know how we love to read then watch, and so that is what we will be doing this weekend, hopefully. Another book that I read, and this is one that I read myself, this is Wolf Hollow by Lauren Walk. I really liked this book. I didn't love it like I've loved some of these others. I did like it. I would definitely put this, if you're going to read aloud, to a much older. I would not be reading this to my first grader yet. I don't think she would enjoy it. I think it's a little bit too deep. So if you have older ones, this is definitely a good book to read. But for me, it was okay. I still a little bit torn on how I feel about this one, but it was a good one, but not a 5-star for me. Another Roald Dahl book, The Witches. I really enjoyed this one. I did not do this one as a read aloud yet because I wanted to pre-read it. I had watched the movie when I was younger, and I remember it being a little bit creepy, so I didn't know how the book would relate exactly for a first grader. So I think we will definitely read this one. I think it's one that she's really going to enjoy because she loved Matilda. I think she's going to like this one. Personally, I think I like Witches better than I did Matilda, but I'm not sure. Not 100% sure on that, but I think I did enjoy Witches more than I did Matilda, just because it could be that this was just really taxing as a read aloud, and so maybe that is having something to do with my rating. But this one I will be adding to our read alouds, and then we will of course get to watch the movie afterwards. But that is another one of my March reads. Next, I have Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. This was a really fun one. I think this will be a really fun read aloud. I probably will read this aloud to her. For an adult reading it, it was just okay. I don't give it like a high rating, but this is a middle grade book, so I'm trying to be fair with my rating. It's a very fun and entertaining mystery-ish kind of a little bit. There's a little bit of detectiveness, like figuring out what's going on in the library. So this was fun. I will probably read this to her. I don't think we'll read it this year because my stack for read-alouds is just growing every day, it feels like. I think this will probably be a second grade read-aloud that we have, but it's just fun. It's a really, really fun book. Then I have The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This was a lovely book. Again, it was not my favorite. I will show you my favorite in a minute. The problem could possibly be that I read a 5-star for me book right at the beginning, and so everything seemed to pale in comparison, to be honest. I thought it was a really fun book. I did like it. I didn't love it. I found myself skimming a lot, but again, this is for middle grade. I'm trying to be fair with that assessment. For middle grade, this is quite possibly a 5-star for a lot of middle grade readers. For myself, it was not a 5-star. I did really, really like it, and it was really neat. But like I said, I did a lot of skimming, and because I did skimming, I would have to knock a star off for that. But this would be really fun for your homeschool read-alouds or for your middle grade reader. It was a nice book. And my last one is Sweep. I don't know that you can actually see this, so I will put a picture right here. This book was so good. I read it first, and so I feel that it influenced every single one of these other books, and therefore it was hard not to judge Sweep against these other books that I read. I tried not to, but this was middle grade, but it was like, take the middle grade away and it was a 5-star for me. Like, this is a 5-star, one of my favorite books all time sort of book. I don't know if just I was in the right place emotionally. I don't know what was going on with this book. I loved it. I could not put this book down. It is Sweep, the story of a girl and her monster. It was somewhat historical fiction, which I absolutely love. We did do this as a read aloud because I started, well, somewhat as a read aloud. I would read it and then kind of catch her up because, like I said, I couldn't put it down. And so she did hear a good portion of Sweep, and she absolutely loved it too. When I asked her which was her favorite, Matilda or Sweep, she says, oh, it's really hard to decide. They're both so, so good. For me, Sweep is absolutely the top of the pile. Again, I don't know if I was just like in the right emotional state of mind to read this book or what, but it was my first book, and therefore all of these were somewhat of a letdown compared to Sweep. And so, yes, Sweep is my favorite book of March, my favorite book of the year, actually. And so we'll see how the rest of the month plays out. This is what I've gotten so far. So we've got Witches, Matilda, Wolf Hollow, Mr. Limoncello's Library, The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and Sweep. So I will definitely catch back up with you as the month proceeds and I get more that I have finished, but I did want to show you everything that I read because a lot of these are going back to the library today and I wanted to be able to show you. All right, I'm back finishing up the wrap up of March of everything that I ended up reading. My last kind of book I completely finished for middle grade for myself was The Book Jumper. This was really good. This was probably my second favorite middle grade read that I did this whole month. Of course, we all know Sweep was number one, but I really, really liked The Book Jumper, and I really want to find The Forgotten Book, which is her second one. So I would like to read that. We also, my daughter and I finished up Anne of Green Gables, and I didn't realize when I was reading this one that it was like a junior classic, so it was like the small version. I didn't realize this, but to be honest, I can't imagine reading the thicker version of it. Let me know down in the comments. Maybe this junior classic just kind of robs some of the best part of the book. But to be honest, I don't really want to pick up the big book of this. This was fine. It was okay, but I didn't like love it. And it really didn't make me want to pick up the actual big classic of it. So let me know down in the bottom, am I just missing something with maybe this version? But anyways, it was cute. Definitely not something I would want to read much of, but it was a book that we read together. So after the book jumper, I started The Land of Stories, which I will put right here. I, at this point, was at the very end of March, like the last week of March, and I just kind of couldn't take any more middle grade. I had to take a break. So I actually just put that one aside. It's not that it wasn't good. It was just that I was ready for something a little bit more adult. And so I picked this one up, which is one I picked up from my book outlet haul. It was so good. I am usually not a mystery person, but this may have changed my mind. I don't know. I really, really, really enjoyed this. I don't know if it's because I was on a drought of adult books, you know, after having middle grade for so long. But like I said, this one I really, really enjoyed. And if there's any other Agatha Christie books that I need to know about, please put them down in the comments. Like I said, I didn't finish off with middle grade. I did read a lot of middle grade, I thought, for me, but I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I switched to this. Really, really enjoyed this one. This one I did not read, but because I'm giving you hopefully some really good recommendations for homeschool, I wanted to let you know my daughter decided to pick this book up herself, and she read this all on her own. She loved this and immediately asked for the next book. So I did want to throw this one in here because if you're looking for books for read-alouds or for your homeschool children, I did want to mention this one, and it's The Kingdom of Renly, Book 1, The Lost Stone by Jordan Quinn. This is a really, really great reader for that beginning reader, really nice sized. She was in love with it, and so I did get her the next book so that she could start reading that, but I definitely wanted to mention this. Then we read the Odyssey together, which is retold by Geraldine McGaughran, maybe? This is the Odyssey. This is really good. We both enjoyed it. This was a book that we read throughout the month of March, and we might have actually started it in February, the end of February. I can't remember. But we really liked this. We enjoyed it a lot, and I really want to pick up a few more off of this set here. We've read Black Beauty before, and I think that we would really enjoy, like, look at this, the Tales of the Greek Heroes. I think some of these would be really, really good. She also wanted me to show you book 2, which goes along with the Renly book. This is book 2, The Scarlet Dragon. She's in the process of reading this one right now. Really, really is enjoying it, and she wanted to make sure that any little YouTubers that might be watching would see this and know that it might be a good book that they would enjoy. So the Renly series seems pretty exciting, and she's ready to get the whole collection. Now, as far as me, I am finishing up with a book, and I will put it right here. It is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I, again, didn't know I was a mystery lover, so Agatha Christie kind of put a spark in me. I wanted to kind of finish out the month with one of the programs that was going on, like middle grade March, and I believe there was some sort of like mystery madness or something that was going on, and so I was like, well, I'll kind of participate in that just a little bit. Like I said, I don't know much about it at all, but I had this one on the shelf, pulled it out, couldn't have been more happy with it, and then I'm really, really enjoying my other one right here, the Evelyn Hardcastle book. It's really, really good too. So I hope you got a lot of ideas for reading aloud for your homeschool. We had some good ones. Let me know down in the comments if I've missed something on Anne of Green Gables, because if I have, I do want to read it at some time, but if I haven't, I don't want to waste my time with it. And if you happen to be a mystery lover, put down in the description any that I might really need to pick up. Is there another Agatha Christie that's like a must read? Let me know down in the description. I hope you have had a wonderful reading month. I had a fun time with the middle grade March, but I was definitely ready to get back into something a little more adulty. Again, give me some ideas down in the description of what I might could do for April for mystery. So give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next one. Happy reading, friends!